Welcome back. You're still tuned in to News and Views with myself, Salailo Makwidiri, on your home of humanitarian journalism, Salam Media. And if you're a resident of Johannesburg and you're a customer of City Power, well, this next interview is going to be one that's going to need your attention because, well, I'm sure if you've bought electricity in the last few days or in the last few hours, you would have noticed that there's a new tariff shock as City Power implements a 200 Rand prepaid charge. Typical City Power customers will pay 19% more and not the 12.7% after numerous attempts to implement fixed charges to cover the cost of distributing electricity to prepaid customers. The City of Johannesburg City Power has begun charging these customers a total of 200 Rand. This is excluding value-added tax. This is a monthly bill that you'll be forking out, and it is effective from the 1st of July. So yesterday, or Monday, and I think there are a lot of questions regarding this, and we'll be joined shortly by Nqobani Mzizi. He's a senior manager of revenue enhancement for City Power, and he's joining us via StreamYard. Nqobani, thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to Salam Media.
Thank you, Slaylo, and thank you to your viewers and listeners.
I think first and foremost, let's start by just explaining the rationale behind this new fixed charge, this new 200 Rand fixed charge that the customers of City Power will now have to fork out when they buy their electricity. This is going to be part of the bill.
All right, so it's not new. It's new to prepaid customers. So conventional customers, and when I speak about conventional customers, those who have been billed on conventional power usage, that is, those who receive the bill at the end of the month, are used to paying a service fee. So they pay what is known as a network fee, network charge, and a service charge. And in so doing, they've been contributing towards that fee. And then it's the first time that the prepaid customers now are subject to pay that fee. What is that fee for, Slylo, you may be asking? It is a contribution towards the maintenance and the upkeep of the infrastructure that brings the power to the door or to the meter of the customer, as it were. So in the past, prepaid was reserved mainly for indigent customers. And when the city decided that they'll open it up to all customers within the city, people far and wide started migrating to the prepaid tariff. And by extension, then it meant that we are losing the base of customers who are contributing towards the maintenance cost of electricity, or of our infrastructure, as it were, should I put it. Then they only ended up paying for consumption. So if you are only paying for consumption, it means you're not contributing to the maintenance of the power lines, the substations, the transformers, etc. And whatever you pay us is what we give to Eskom. So now what has happened is that it has eroded our service charge and network charge base with a major migration to prepaid. And as a result, now we're saying, no, everyone needs to contribute because everyone benefits equally, just like those on conventional, on business, and the large power users.
I think historically, City Power has attempted before to implement this new tariff. I think it was in 2021, but was unsuccessful. What has changed now that has allowed this new tariff to be implemented and to be effective?
I think the business case is now stronger. Not that it wasn't then, but because of change in political administration, and there's probably a lot of politicking around that at that time. But as time went on, I think a council started seeing the reason and understanding why this charge is necessary. Maybe let me put it like this: in us not even charging it at that time, we had already received approval from the regulator, because when we apply for our tariffs, we apply and we tell them that we want tariffs that are cost reflective, and they understood the reason for that charge in 2021, as you have rightfully put it. But when we implemented it, unfortunately, being a municipal entity, the council, which is responsible for us, said no, do not implement it. What did that then translate to? It meant that our revenue base was low. The fees, the costs our ability to service our infrastructure was then hampered, because those who were supposed to contribute to the cost that I mentioned at the beginning, the maintenance and sorts, were not contributing. And as such, it meant that our ability to maintain our infrastructure and give customers the service they need was grossly affected. So at this point in 2024, the need is now so dire and everybody can see, and that's why we're saying everyone must join and contribute and pay into the kitty, so that we can be able to maintain our infrastructure to be able to give the service that is expected of us as a municipal entity. So the buy-in is much larger because everyone can see that the challenge is much greater.
I think one thing that has come out really strongly is just how steep, this monthly tariff will be, and it represents a significant increase for, as you mentioned, prepaid customers. How do you justify, this steep increase, especially for households that are already struggling with the rising living costs?
So I'm going to say this not with an intention to encourage customers to migrate to it because of the comparison I'll give, but for those conventional customers that I mentioned at the beginning again of this interview, they pay around 700 before VAT. For this fee, that is 200 Rand for prepaid customers. So in comparison, they pay very little as opposed to the conventional customers. I'll move even further and go to business customers who on prepaid pay a grand or 1,500, who on conventional business pay upwards of 2,000. Then I move even further to large power users. They pay over 3,000-4,000 even before they consume. So yes, maybe relative to what prepaid customers are used to, it is high. I'm not going to refute that. However, in the bigger scheme of things and in their contribution for their purpose, it is minuscule, and I'm not trivializing the amount to say that it's insignificant. Of course, customers are strained, so as everyone is, as is our entity, and we are saying in order for us to give you the service you need, contribute as well so that you can get that uninterrupted service that you expect of us as an entity.
Let's touch a bit on the debt accumulation and collection thereof. The fixed charge will be deducted even if a customer's balance is insufficient, potentially leading to a debt accumulation. How will City Power manage this debt, and what are they?
All right, Silailo, I'm not sure if you can still hear me. I lost you there at the end. Please confirm if you can hear me. Oh, you can hear me. I've lost you. So I heard a chunk of the question. So yes, indeed, the mechanism to collect this is one that might lead to that problem, and of course, there's an acknowledgement of that. Unlike conventional customers where they paid all once off with their bill, how we have structured this for prepaid customers is that when you make your purchase, 50% of what you purchase, if it's less than a particular amount, is going to go towards the service fee. And then the next purchase, we then take a fraction and a fraction. The system is configured and is geared to keep that portion which we have not contributed, for example, in the month of July, carried over to August. And when you buy in August, it's going to collect the one of the month before, and then going to only then take the one for August after you have close the one of the month before, take August, and then give you your services. So your question then says, how are we going to ensure that we collect it? Given that this is something that is relatively new, Slayelo, we are of the view that once we see this playing out itself, and if we are going to have challenges, I guess we'll follow the normal or conventional prepaid credit control process. Remember, every customer who's on prepaid is also a customer of the city of Joburg, so they do have other municipal services, and in having other municipal services, this can be added to those municipal services firstly. Or if not added to those municipal services, what could also be an option is to follow the normal credit control process that we follow. So the way in which we've been dealing with prepaid customers is going to fundamentally change, because all along they have, with this change, obviously, even more changes are going to come. So we'll see as we move along. But as a start, that is how we have envisioned we'll be able to collect that service charge should customers decide to not buy or maybe buy in huge chunks and so forth. But we're going to see it out, how it's going to play out.
City Power has indicated that there will be further substantial increases that should be expected over the next 3 to 5 years. How do you plan to manage these increases to minimize the financial burden on customers?
Remember, the increase is driven by the cost to run the business. So it's not a profit motive for us to increase the charges. What influences the reason for us to charge or to increase the charges is so that we can be able to procure the product that we sell. And I call it a product, it's a service to the customer, and that is energy from Eskom, IPPs, and whomever else that we are buying from. So if the cost of our main product which we're selling is high, unfortunately we pass it over. It's not intended to grow our revenue base. It's not intended to enrich the company. It's not intended to benefit any shareholder. So when we say we're going to increase, we're taking yield from Eskom because it is Eskom, and as you may know that they have submitted an application to NERSA for the next 5 years, where they have stated to NERSA that they want to increase the price of electricity by high percentages, and as a result, it is from there then Silaelo that we are taking heed. It is not because we want to do that. We are just forewarning our customers. The matter is before the court. Salga has taken the matter up on behalf of the municipality so the increase can be manageable, so it's manageable for the customers. However, we felt that it's necessary that we communicate it timelessly before it even happens.
There seems to be, two categories for prepaid customers. This is, according to City Power, to protect low-income households. Can you elaborate on how, the indigent and low-income households are, kind of identified, and what measures are in place to ensure that they also, have an appropriate tariff that's put on them?
So the city of Joburg is a caring city. That's the first thing we need to begin with. So in us being a caring city, we have made accommodation for pensioners. We have made accommodation for those who are classified as indigent customers. How are you classified as indigent? As I said, pensioner above 60 with the number of dependents. There are certain things that you have to go and prove at your nearest City of Johannesburg walk-in center. You provide them, they make an assessment, and then in making that assessment, they say, okay, you are indigent up to this level, we give you free units to this level. From a prepaid perspective, then, how then does that play out? Those who have been identified as indigent, again, being a caring city, what we have done is to omit the service fee from those who are indigent. So they will not pay, they will be excluded from the 200 Rand service fee as long as they are indigent. And you make an application annually to renew, because we know that in the normal process of attrition, sadly, I mean, when people pass on, we don't want the benefit to continue, even for those who should not qualify or benefit from that. So it's just an annual application. But the benefit for prepaid customers on indigent, they are absolved, or they do not have to pay that 200 Rand service fee. But the cost of electricity is the same as everybody else.
All right, I think we're going to leave it there. Nqobani, thank you so much for giving us your time and unpacking this new tariff fee, which came as a shocker for a lot of customers of the city of Johannesburg. I'm sure you guys are prepared for a lot of protests that will be coming your way.
No, look, I think we've put our ducks in a row. Of course, as with every new thing, Slylo, and to the listeners and the viewers, there will definitely be resistance to change because people are accustomed to a certain way. But I think with every challenge, we're up to that challenge. And I say challenge loosely, not that it's a challenge, but with every change, there will come challenges, and we are going to address it because we've applied our mind to this. We are communicating quite strongly about this, and we hope that people will understand, and through people like yourself, mediums like yourself, media houses are going to spread this message over so that it's understood and accepted.
All right. Thank you so much, Nqobani, for giving us your time. And we'll be chatting with you as, a lot of listeners and a lot of people in Johannesburg continue to try and make sense of all of this. Really appreciate your time. Going to leave it there.
Thank you. Cheers.
Yeah, we've come to the end of our show. That hour of news and views was proudly sponsored by African Muslims Agency. And yeah, if you are a resident of Johannesburg, I'm sure you have a lot of questions. I think there are a lot of avenues that you can use with regards to asking those questions to the relevant authorities, especially City Power, who have come out with that, tariff. So if you have any questions, I was directed to give out these contact numbers 011490700. If you have any questions that you need to send out to City Power in question to this new 200 Rand deduction, monthly deduction from your prepaid electricity recharges. So yeah, no more belts to tighten. If you still have space to tighten your belt in this economy, then you're one of the privileged few. We have come to the end of our show. It's been a really, really wonderful one. Thank you so much for joining us for the past 2 hours. From myself, Salailo Makwidire, and the rest of the team, it's goodbye. Tomorrow, Enad Wadi will be coming back to your airwaves. Well, not tomorrow, but on Friday, we'll be coming back to your airwaves. Tomorrow, Julie Ali will be joining you for the Thursday edition of News and Views. But from myself, Salailo Makwidire, until we meet again next week, Wednesday, it's goodbye. Assalamu alaikum. See you.